everybody, Erica Serwin here from Pink Bucker Designs. I'm going to show you how to make a fun little fall shaker card using the beautiful autumn stamp set. You can see I've taken those leaves, punched a bunch of them out and put them inside with some sequins to make a little shaker. Now the tree that I'm using is from the Life is Beautiful stamp set. Both of these can be found in the August to December 2020 Stampin' Up! Holiday Mini Catalog. All right, now the beautiful autumn stamp set can be purchased as a bundle with the 3 matching punches. So I highly recommend, if you're going to buy the stamp set, to get the punches as well, so that you can easily cut out all of those cute little images. All right, well, let's get started. Let's make our card base first. And I'm going to do that by using my Stamparatus. This is a really big tree stamp. And I'm going to just take that out and grab my Stamparatus. If you've never seen a Stamparatus before, it is a stamp positioning tool. And it's really good for big stamps, as well as just any stamp that you're trying to get perfect placement in. These are the magnets that come with it. Let me make sure my paper is straight. That will hold your paper in place. And take your tree and just get it in the center, exactly right on your paper. Now, the measurements and products that I'm using can be found on a PDF that's over on my blog. You will find the link to that blog post here on YouTube, and the PDF is under the last photo. So I set it down perfectly there on my paper, picked it up with the plate, and I'm going to ink it in soft suede ink. Now you want to be careful not to get ink on your plate so that you don't have ink in places you don't want it. If you accidentally get ink on the plate, just wipe it off with a paper towel or a wipey. All right, let's lay that down and press it all over so we get good pressure or good coverage. Perfect. Isn't that a beautiful tree? Okay, now let's make all of our little leaves. The colors that I'm using, got a good fall color palette. I'm using Cherry Cobbler, Pumpkin Pie, Bumblebee, Old Olive, and that soft suede. And I'm going to stamp the leaves several times in the same colored cardstock. All right, and I'm going to use, we have 2 different leaf images here, so I'm just going to kind of do a variety of them. I'm going to stamp an Old Olive. Let's do 4 times. You know, I'm going to do 4 times each piece. I may not use all of those, but that's okay. We'll have some left over probably that we could use on another project. All right, Bumblebee. And you can see I'm stamping close to the edge of the cardstock. That way I can punch them out easily. All right, now let's do Pumpkin Pie. Do that same stamp there in Pumpkin Pie. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then last but not least is the beautiful Cherry Cobbler. And we will do that first leaf that we used. Let's do 4 of these like that. There we go. Now this stamp set comes with stamps that you can color in. So you would stamp the leaf first and then stamp the solid leaf on top. But because we're stamping on colored cardstock, we don't need to do that. However, with the acorn, we are going to stamp the color in on the top part of the acorn, just so that we have a little bit of variation. And that's this one right here. And I'm just going to stamp right there in the center, or on the top. All right, now let's get our punches. Our punches lock down flat for easy storage, so just unlock it, turn your punch over, and you can easily punch out all your little fall images. Now that I have all of those punched out, let's make the heart the little frame for the shaker. I'm using the Be Mine Stitched Hearts dies, and we're going to use both of these to cut out a frame in Whisper White. And then we're also going to cut it out of a window sheet. A window sheet is like a clear acetate piece of like paper, like a clear paper, but it's pretty thick. All right, so I'm going to lay this down on my cut and emboss machine. These are nesting hearts. We want to just have the outline of the heart. We want it open in the middle so that we have a window. So get those centered on your cut and emboss machine. Put your top plate on. Run that through. And so you can see you have that. So save that for another project. And you also have this heart. All right, so see how that's going to make that outline? Oh, nope, we're not ready to put that away. This time for the acetate, for the window sheet, we're just going to use the solid heart. So that we get that solid heart cut out there. Okay, now we're going to need to adhere the outline heart to the window sheet, and we're going to need to give it some time to dry. So I'm going to go ahead and do that first, and then we'll put the other pieces of the card together as we wait. So I'm using just Tombow liquid glue. Set that down to dry, and you might want to set something on top of it like an ink pad so that it will dry, and then we can start putting the rest of this card together. I'm going to use my new Stamp and Seal, our new adhesive. I'm going to adhere this piece onto a mat, an early espresso mat, and I've got a Bumblebee, I love that name, Bumblebee cardstock base. And let's put this on with some dimensionals. Of course, I love dimensionals. All right, there we go. Now for the sentiment, just grab that piece of scrap paper that you cut your heart out of and stamp that right there just on the edge. We're just going to cut that out so that it's just a sliver of paper that is just the width and the height of the sentiment. Okay, there we go. All right, now if our heart is dry, we are ready to put it all together. I'm going to use our foam adhesive strips for this project to make this shaker. I'm going to just take them and carefully adhere them to the back side of the window sheet, kind of curling it around as I go. And let's get another piece. I've kind of cut them in half to make them a little easier to handle. And it should fit right in within that frame of the heart. All right, we want it to come to a point down here. Okay, now let's get all of our goodies lined up. And what I like to do is kind of arrange them. Of course, they're going to shake around, right? I mean, they're not going to stay this way. But if I get them all facing the right direction when I start, then they will stay the right direction in the shaker. And don't put too many, because if you put too many, then it won't shake around. Now, I'm also adding these. These are so fun. Sequins for Everything. I love that name. And you've got 4 little pods of colored sequins. And be very careful when you open it so they don't go flying everywhere. And I'm just going to get the yellow ones, and I'm just going to put a little bit of those in there. Keep them all in this little pile here so that when you lay your heart down, they will all be in the right place and not outside of the frame. Hopefully we can do that. All right, get them all in there. Now, get your heart. I've got them stuck to me. Get your heart. And unpeel all of that like that. And we're going to very carefully, you could do it sideways. I couldn't decide if I want to do it sideways or straight, but I think we're going to stick with straight. Let's move that down a little bit and just lay that right there. Okay, apply some pressure. Now, look at that, perfect. Okay, now for our sentiment, I'm going to take my scissors and just cut this in at an angle. I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive here on the back, like that, and do that across. Now I'm going to kind of make it off center to the right so that I can then take some of these leaves and put them here on this side like that. Let's see if I can do this, get this all arranged. We don't want to cover up the words. There we go. I'm going to finish up with that acorn right on the center, right on the top. Okay, now I've got to move everything over. Using my take your pick tool, that kind of helps because my fingers are a little bit sticky. There we go. And now, last but not least, let's add a bow. A linen bow, linen thread bow. This is my favorite trim. All right, cut those ends off. And you can stick this on with a mini glue dot right at the bottom of your heart. And there you go. And you can see I have quite a few of these left, so I can make another shaker card. All right, let's look at them together. They're a little bit different, but still beautiful. All right, make sure you hop over to my blog to grab that PDF. I have it right here. It has the measurements down here as well as all the products that I used. All right, you guys, let me know if you have any questions. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.